Hey, what's going on? John W. Davis here with James Williams for the Southern California News Group, specifically the Orange County Register. We're here at the College Football National Championship Game, TCU versus Georgia, James. Quite a game we got on tap.
Yeah, should be a good one. Looking forward to it. As I wrote for the OC Register earlier this week, there's kind of this whole narrative of it's the Bulldogs versus the underdogs, but neither team is really buying into that narrative. Both teams are here at the championship game, have deserved and had the journey required to be here. So I think they're looking to, at the very least, buck that narrative and have a good game today.
I would say for me, I think the story for me is Georgia. They're the national champions, defending national champions. They're trying to go back-to-back for the first time in a long time. And then TCU, before the season, weren't even ranked basically until like halfway through the season.
Not only were they not ranked, but they were expected to finish like 7th in the media poll in the Big 12 Conference. So let alone any sort of top 25 action, they weren't even expected to make it very far in their own conference. And they're here at SoFi Stadium today.
Right. Both of these teams have Heisman Trophy finalist quarterbacks. Both of these teams survived those high-scoring affairs in the semifinal.
Yeah.
Georgia beating Ohio State.
Yes.
And then TCU beating Michigan.
Yes,
so they both took out two Big Ten teams.
Yep.
So I don't know, man.
I mean,
I can't really call it. I guess that's where I'm at. I can't really call it. I know that TCU is underdog.
Yeah.
And, they're saying TCU is supposed to lose this game by more than 10 points. I don't see that.
Yeah, I think it was at like 12 and a half the last time I checked. Me personally, I'm just rooting for a good game. I think at the very, I was going to say, I think at the very least, if you're TCU, you want to have a good showing. But
no, you want to win this game.
No, you want to win the game. And it's not about, hey, we're just happy to be here.
No,
I mean, there's part of that,
not.
but at the same time, you've made it this far. They didn't even win the Big 12 conference title. I guess they won
the regular season. They won the title. They just didn't win the championship game.
But now they're out to kind of complete their Cinderella story for whatever it's worth. I know we see a lot of this in college basketball. You have teams like Butler that go on a run, and all of a sudden you see them in the Final Four. You don't get a whole lot of that in football, but we're going to get it today, and I'm curious to see how TCU does on a big stage.
Yeah, I think Georgia, as the defending national champions and an undefeated season right now, they have everything to lose in this game. Obviously, they have something to gain, win back-to-back national championships, but how often do you get a chance to defend your national championship?
Not a lot. You're absolutely right. I think there's been 8 CFP. We've kind of gone through this for about 8 years now. This will be the second to last where they have that 4-team playoff setting. So we'll see. Especially when they move to a 12-team playoff, we probably won't see a whole lot of this whole defending national championship stuff, just because the odds might be out of favor, right?
And when we went to Media Day, I remember that Kirby Smart was basically saying that Georgia football is not here because they won the national championship last year. Right. They're here because their offense and defense was good enough to make it through the SEC this year. And so you have to realize and remember that this is a different team than last year. They don't have the same players. They had so many players go to the NFL.
15 get drafted.
Right, it's a different team. And then on the TCU side, yes, it's Sonny Dykes' first season with the team, but with the way the transfer portal is and the way that you can empower your players, you can build up to this in a year because they got some key transfers, and then they just had people who believing in themselves, and it all came together. You got some bounces the right way, and they make it to the national championship
They had
game.
more than a few bounces go their way. Just kind of reading up and writing about TCU, they had comebacks of 17 points, 18 points.
Okay, more than a few. Okay.
So they had their fair share of bounces. And I think what this game is going to come down to is maybe you're going to need another lucky bounce or two, but then you're also going to need some of what you had in the Michigan game or against Michigan, where you had 2 pick sixes. It's not what TCU's offense can do. Obviously, they don't want to turn the ball over, but that defense is going to have to try and score some points on their end if they can, in the same way they did to beat Michigan.
But offensively, though, I feel like both of these quarterbacks are special. Both of these quarterbacks are gamers. Both of these quarterbacks are what you want your college quarterback to be. Now, neither one of these guys are probably going to be a top pick in the draft or anything like that, but that doesn't matter.
Not today.
College football is totally different than professional football. And the fact that both of these guys are mobile, both of these guys can run and pick up first downs, both of these guys are tough, and both of these guys are experienced, means that we're in for quite a game.
And with this, I know at least for Stetson Bennett, the Georgia quarterback, this will be his last game. He's been had a 6-year college career. I'm not sure off the top of my head about Max Duggan, but I would imagine this is going to be his last college game.
It's about the last one.
I would imagine it's going to be his last college game. So I expect these guys, especially what we've seen from Max Duggan, is he's put his body on the line in every game. So I expect nothing different with the championship on the line tonight.
And may I end with Amari DiMercado, excuse me. This guy is the story of this event. Yep. He is from Inglewood. He is from 5 minutes from this stadium. He went to Downey High School. He started at Carson, ended up at Downey High School. It worked out there for him to start to get looks, and he's like, yo, I think I'm a Power 5 back. And so what does he do? He doesn't take his offer to UC Davis or Cal Poly Slow or Army Navy. He says, I'm going to go to Saddleback College for a year. He goes there, earns a scholarship to TCU, and basically waits 5 years at TCU before he ever has 100 yards in a game. His second to last game is when he finally had his breakout game.
I mean, he
finally got his opportunity, and he earned the Horned Frogs a trip here.
No doubt about it. So, and we'll see to what level or how much he's used tonight. I'm sure he'll be part of the game plan, especially because of that 150-yard performance that he had. But obviously,
if anybody's motivated to play at home, it's going to be him.
Oh,
obviously, everybody's motivated to play in this game, but he has extra motivation. I mean, his family's here. You know,
it doesn't get any bigger than this.
No.
Obviously,
I even asked him. I said, at your lowest point, did you ever think that you would get a chance to play football at SoFi Stadium? And he's like, no, because he didn't think at his lowest point he didn't think he was going to be a pro.
I mean, growing up, SoFi wasn't here. SoFi is only like 2 or 3 years old, so this is kind of unthinkable.
But he was at a point where he's like, man, maybe I need to transfer for playing time and things like that. But no, he stuck with it. His high school football coach, Downey coach Jack Williams, told him, hey, stick with it. And he said he's always been mature, and he just knew that, like, hey, I'm going to get my bachelor's degree in economics. I'm going to get my master's degree in business analytics. I'm going to get something out of this TCU experience. And he already got 2 degrees out of it, and now he has a chance to get a national championship out of it.
2 degrees and a possible national championship. It doesn't get any better than that. In that cabinet, that shelf, wherever he's putting all these accolades at the end of the day.
Probably at Mom's house down the street.
Down the street. It's going to look pretty nice, especially for if TCU is able to get a win tonight.
For sure. So let us know in the comment section below, who do you think is going to win this game? Is it going to be TCU, the Horned Frogs? Are they going to pull off the upset, or is it going to be the Georgia Bulldogs going back to back?
We'll see. I mean,
I don't make predictions.
I kind of do.
Okay.
I gave one. I think I don't remember my score, but I think I had Georgia. I don't know if I had 40, 45, 35.
Something like that?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be a touchdown game, something along those lines. But you never know. I'm just hoping for a good game regardless.
All right. Thank you so much, James.
Yep.
All right. I'll talk to you after the game.
Thank you.